We'll give them one more round of applause. Blessing Geraldo, Corey Granger, Taylor Solomon, come on out. Coach G, Jerry McIntyre, welcome. Producer Steve Cantor, welcome. Come on down, have a seat. Well, everybody, welcome. Welcome to we call it our living room. So it's very casual. It's a casual conversation. Greetings to the people here in the audience here at Lincoln Center and to those who are listening in on our podcast and watching us on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, all of you.
Thanks for having us.
As I told you backstage and as I told the audience, seeing this movie with an audience for the first time when I saw it at Sundance, now, oh my gosh, can you believe it was, 7 months ago?
January.
Is that possible? Yeah. Was an incredible experience that evening. I mean, I can't imagine. It was so emotional for me watching that movie and learning about each of you and the story behind the making of the film and your lives and everything that you're doing. But what must it have meant to each of you to have this movie that you've been working on together in various capacities be out in the world in that way, and the response being so immediate. It was like electricity. It just happened. It was like lightning. Share with us some of the memories of that first screening, and then we're going to talk about the movie itself.
Well, the first screening. Hi, everyone.
Please start.
No, it's your movie. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Taylor. We all went and watched the movie at Sundance as a team, so 29 of us, including the 19 staffers and 10 of our family and staff came out, and we all watched it together, and we didn't know what to expect because it's 400 hours of footage, but it's an 83-minute movie. So we're kind of contemplating what's going to make it, what's not, and how everything's going to flow. But watching ourselves on the screen, we were nervous at first, so I know I was, but I'm definitely happy with the product. And if the team wasn't happy, then I know that they would have made the movie all the way different and changed it around, so we'll be happy.
For me, hey everyone, my name's Blessing. Hi. For me, my favorite part of Sundance and seeing the film for the first time was being able to be in the theater with my loved ones, my stepsisters, mothers, a few staff members, and being able to enjoy that moment of achievement together, because everyone in our school, everyone even in the city of Baltimore, seeing the cameras following us around, they're like, what are they doing? Like, what is this? And to have people see what STEP is and get a sense of the movement and the message behind it of, talking about 3 girls from Baltimore with big dreams and hopes of being the first in their families to go to college, I think it's something that really had not only our city, but the country, and it just had a lot of people, raise an eyebrow and say, wow, people are really capable of a lot of things, and I think it's given us the platform to really command people's attention and raise awareness for a really good cause.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary McIntyre, also known as Coach G. When we first saw the movie at Sundance, we saw it together. That was a great experience, but when it was screened for the public for the first time, we saw it again, and the reaction was like unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, because we lived it, of course we thought it was a good movie. I mean, Amanda is very passionate about everything she does. She's great.
Amanda's the director.
She has some wonderful people behind her, producers and all types of executive producers, associate producers. But for people to be able to relate to our story, it was just like, wow, people really understand what's going on. And then we never would have imagined. I mean, getting into Sundance was like crazy, but I thought that's where it was going to stop. So for a major company like Fox Searchlight to purchase it, and then all of these things be happening, hence us sitting here with you guys today, it has been like a whirlwind. But it's such a blessing for people to see all of the things that we see every day, we go through every day, and be able to relate to it and really love the story and fall in love and want to do something. They feel a call to action, or they feel hope. And in a time like this in America, hope is something that we have to hold on to.
Yes.
Before I ask Steve to talk about the making of the film and the making, the backstory on the film, for each of you who are seen on camera, was it hard to let how hard was it to make the decision to let these cameras and people into your lives? Was it a challenge? How was it being followed around and being documented? How did that feel?
Hey everybody, I'm Corey. Thanks. Yes. It wasn't hard at all because we were all just doing what we'd have been doing on a daily basis when the cameras came around. Coach G was just being a step coach and working at the school, and I was just being a student applying to college, and I would have been going to Hopkins regardless of whether or not the cameras were there. Yeah. And same for all of us. So it felt really natural. And we also had a really great camera crew that honestly feels like family. To this day, we still communicate.
They blended in, just filled it.
Yeah. So they were really respectful of our feelings. You know, it's obvious that they have a job to get done, and you know, you want those intimate moments, but they also made it clear that they knew we had our own lives and we like our personal space sometimes. So if it was a day that you just weren't feeling like being on the camera, or you were just not in the best mindset that day, then they respected that. And I think that's something that really went a long way and allowed us to open up, because, you know, if people are just continuously invading your space, even after countless times of you asking them not to, you know, you probably want to shut down and just not share. But the fact that we were so comfortable helped us to be raw and genuine and open about our stories.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
For me, I really thought that it would be something that would like go into like an archive, like it would just be like a journal of what happened my senior year.
It's like a yearbook.
Yeah, but I really wanted to open up and share everything about what I was going through, being real and genuine, because I knew that eventually I would make it through. And having that sense of motivation, I could show my nieces, my nephews, cousins to come. And with that being said, that's why I think that our stories came across to be so real, because it wasn't something that we figured, oh, a big movie company would just pick it up. You know, they don't even buy documentaries. So for me, I feel like I'm still living a dream, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this movement.
It should be said that Amanda has a long-standing relationship with the school and with these girls. She's been making fundraising videos and public service announcements with them since they were in 6th grade, and she has all kinds of footage of super cute footage of them as kids. And this has been a long relationship, and a lot of trust and love has been built up through the years.
Well, let's talk more about that, because I think, Steve, that would be a great time to maybe talk about some of the origins of the project, not just your involvement, but I'd love to hear more about that. And we know you here at the Film Society from your previous work. But tell us about that relationship, both you're working with Amanda and the relationship. Amanda was going to be here. She had a last-minute family thing, so she can't make it with us tonight. But she's here in spirit, and you can represent some of what she might share with us about sort of the backstory of getting to know not only these women, but the program, and tell us a little bit more about the filmmaking process before we talk a bit more about the film itself, too.
Yeah, I think all the girls can say also, I think she was kind of getting to know them in 6th, 7th grade, and she learned about STEP through them, and that was like in 8th or 9th grade. Blessing started the STEP team, and she's had in mind to make a film about STEP, and everyone's been encouraging her to do it, and she knew that these were the people to do it with, and she hadn't figured out the right sort of format for it. And then heading into senior year, Blessing had a really tough junior year, and there was kind of a lot of drama heading into their senior year. They'd never won anything, and she thought that was a good jumping off point. And she pitched it to me at a family party we were having right before, in August of senior year, before senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I add one?
And I immediately said, I saw a little footage of these guys, and I said, let's get going.
You're like, yes.
And then I assigned these two, I guess they're pretty cute camera and sound guys.
That helped.
One of them is gay. They didn't even know it.
If she were here right now, she would say, well, I'm a Broadway producer in my other life. And so, you know, she never really understood what STEP was about. She didn't have it as a part of her culture growing up. And so when she saw us doing it, since she's a Broadway producer, she always says that in Broadway musicals, characters can't speak, so they sing and dance to express their deepest fears, hopes, and dreams. And to her, that's what we were doing through STEP. And so just the culmination of that and everything that was going on in senior year, and us all being first-generation college students, and just everything that was going on in our city at the time revolving the Freddie Gray murder, she just felt like that was the prime time to make a documentary out of it. It was no better time.
We wanted to rebrand Baltimore.
Amazing. It was amazing watching this movie. Imagine watching this movie right around January 20th of this year, and how so many people might have felt about their country and their culture at that moment, right? I certainly know I felt that way. And watching this movie gave me hope, again, a glimmer of hope, Coach G, what did you think about the idea of this story not only being captured, but the impact that it might have coming out when it is?
I think that the impact is immense, and I think that Amanda did a very good job at basically changing the conversation about so many different stereotypes that was out there. Definitely with Corey, mother being a teen mom, and the stereotype is when you are a teen mom, your child, you're likely is going to be a teen mom and not be successful, and this young lady's on the path to success. Taylor's mom being a single mom and in corrections, and there's taboo about police officers and people in corrections, and I think that she changed that conversation because Taylor's mother, Maisha, was the one saying the police officers were my best friends when I was growing up. And then Blessing's mother, who's the epitome of strength, truly the epitome of strength, but is a victim to the failed healthcare system in the United States. So I think that all of these stereotypes she literally touched on and then blew them out of the waters, because the bottom line is hope is what we needed. And I think that when she was making the film with love, and all of us were doing it with love, the ending product is hope. What we're going through in this country now, everyone needs to see this movie, because one person cannot dictate, two people cannot dictate what is going on. We are the master of our own fates, and we have to control what's going on with us.
I said to a few friends after I saw the movie that especially the three younger ladies on this panel, you are the future, and if you're the future, I feel much better about what's to come someday. I don't know who wants to take this question, but I've been a fan of STEP and watching people perform STEP for a long time, because I think there's just such an amazing energy and vitality and strength and power that comes out in the expression. But maybe who here has actually already seen the movie? If you've seen the movie already, raise your hand. Okay, because we had a screening here recently at the Film Society last week, and a number of people were able to make it. But some people might not have, and people listening in or watching this podcast or watching the YouTube may not have, or may not be that familiar with STEP. So maybe just tell us a little bit more about what STEP as a type of dance and as dance, what it means to you as an expression, and then Coach G, maybe tell us a little bit about what it means to you as well. Just give us some context and background, what it means.
I'll talk about the background, and then these ladies can maybe talk about what it means to them. STEP is an art form that came from Africa. It's an art form that actually stands on its own. It's a sport art, because you have to be athletically and fit to do it. Use your entire body. So it's making music with your body. You're clapping, you're stomping, you're doing military movement, you're doing multiple forms of dance. You are cheerleading, gymnastics, all of those things. Spoken word, public speaking, building confidence, discipline, sisterhood, self-esteem, solidarity. STEP came from Africa, and it came to the Americas through the transatlantic slave trade, and then was made popular through the Black Greek fraternities and sororities, and also is a part of the African American community, and has been for centuries, in community centers, youth groups, schools, churches, outside playing, whatever. But to me, I started STEP in the middle school like these young ladies, and then I went through high school and in college. And to me, STEP was so important because it kept me focused on academics. Academically, I wasn't really there because of focus, not ability. I definitely had the ability, but I'd much rather be doing creative things. And STEP was the creative outlet that I had that kept me focused on academics.
For me, STEP was kind of where I found like my niche in the world. Yeah. I was always like the kid in school who would round up her friends and kind of like Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Mary J. Blige, whatever was playing in gym, and like instruct my friends on what they should do. I never took a dance class, but I kind of knew what I liked, and it was performing. And
never took a dance class?
Never took a dance class, no. And basically a dance class. And my first time seeing STEP was at an HBCU expo in Baltimore City. And I'm like, what is that? Because it's completely different, because for me, I was so used to instructing people with a beat. But when you step, you turn your body into an instrument. Not only that, you're doing call and response, spoken word, so much expression, so much passion behind what they were doing. And me being 11 years old, I wanted to learn whatever it was they were doing. So I went home and I looked on YouTube and I just looked up like some traditional steps. And from there, I was a part of the founding members at my school. We started in 2009. And I figured, why not start a STEP team? It's a way to not only practice the things that I don't know as a choreographer, as a leader, as a team player, but to have a sisterhood, to have a bond, to have something that, like Coach G, kept me connected with school. Because if you think about it, my first time even encountering STEP was at a college. And with that being said, STEP taught me a lot about who I am. It helped me find my passion. It helped me become compassionate. You know, a lot of leadership, a lot of qualities being a captain for a long time. I wasn't like the best. I wasn't putting my best foot forward, but I can use a lot of the things I learned from my STEP experience and my STEP career in everyday life. So STEP is life.
Ever since I can remember, I was the nerdy kid. I was always in the academic extracurriculars. So I was on the debate team. I was an ambassador, giving speeches at different events, anything you can think of. And STEP was really the first creative outlet that I tried and actually stuck with because I liked it. So unlike Bless, and I did do a lot of dancing when I was younger, but I never really liked any of them. I never clicked. And with STEP, I don't know, I kind of feel like a different person when I step. It's like you check in at the stage and then you check out and I'm back to court. But with STEP, it helped me to find a confidence that I didn't have before. So when I step, you really have no choice. You can't be an introvert. You literally have to use your words. You have to scream. You have to have attitude and be fierce. And so that's something that has taken me a long way on and off the stage, like even in college these days. When I'm in my computer science classes and I have a question that I just don't understand what's going on. Prior to stepping, I probably would have just not asked my question, just told myself, you know, just Google it when you get back in your dorm. But now I know that I'm not the only person with the question, and I've learned a lot that, you know, if you don't ask questions, then that's not the way you're going to succeed. And so I have a lot more confidence in that aspect. And that confidence is a skill that you need all throughout life, not just in college, not just as a young person, but all throughout life. So that's why STEP is so important to me.
Thank you.
STEP has taught me how to be a sister. I'm an only child, and now I have 18 sisters, and outside of those 18 sisters, I have the entire school of Bliss as my sisters, you know. And they taught me a lot about myself. I learned a lot about each and every girl in the team. I can tell you their shoe size, their favorite food, what they like to do on the weekends, favorite color, anything you can name, I can tell you about these girls. And I appreciate them so much because I can rely on them whether I need help academically, financially, or mentally, or just to be motivated, because a lot of the girls on the team, they have so much to offer in different ways, and I learned so much from them and they learned so much from me, and STEP has just been that vessel that keeps us together.
I feel like, thank you for each of those responses, and I want to ask Coach G a quick follow-up, because something you were saying earlier kind of struck me, and that is the notion that that physical expression can also impact our sort of mental or emotional acuity, or our physiological side. I don't know. Tell me more about that idea of the connection between.
Well, I'm not an expert on that,
but you see it. But you see
I definitely do see it. I'm just from my experience in stepping, and you all will have the opportunity to watch these young ladies step. Just remembering the choreography, the beats, the rhythm. A lot of the things are repetitive. A lot of things are redundant. But to remember the routine, it seriously takes a special part of your brain to remember that. If you play an instrument, if you do any sports, any arts, you have to tap into something different. And I think that that's what levels out the academics and the extracurricular. I do definitely think that mentally, stepping taps into a very different part of your brain. Because there's so many people who say, I can't do it. But if you really take your time and think about it, you can try, because it's rhythmatic beats and motions. And that's natural. Your body is on a natural rhythm. Your body is on a natural beat. And if you think about it, you could really do it. I've had so many people who come to me, I can't step, I've never done it before, I'm the most uncoordinated, and I really sit with them and help them, and they have it in no time, literally in no time. So that is my experience. I need to research a little bit more on it. But I really think that it does. Research. Yeah, I really think that it does connect with the metacognitive development in your brain. Therapeutic for sure. Absolutely therapeutic. I think it definitely helps with coping and dealing with situations, whether they're happy or sad, triumphant or tragic. You can channel all of that energy and say it and do it because you're using your entire body. You're screaming and yelling, you making faces, all of those things. Channel all of that energy. You happy because you just passed the test, you gonna go out there and kill it. You mad because your mother just yelled at you, you gonna go out there and kill it.
When I first started stepping, I was just an overgrown white guy. Just kidding.
Steve is my biggest believer.
He's our
It's
biggest
really
supporter.
hard.
Steve, you talked about Amanda starting to not only develop a relationship, but shooting and gathering footage over many years. Tell us a little more about that. How many hundreds of hours of footage must you have had, and then how do you shape that into something that becomes an 83-minute piece?
Yeah, I mean, usually with the documentary, there's a little bit of a ramp-up period. Sometimes it could even be a couple months before you earn the trust and access that you need to really have those intimate moments. And we started off like we were right in there day one. It was kind of amazing because there was so much trust and faith and love built up over the years.
How much footage was there?
We had an
400
editor.
plus.
I've heard it wasn't 400 hours. It was a lot though. But we had an editor, Penelope Falk, who's an incredibly skilled documentary editor, and she went through all the footage for a couple weeks, and quickly whittled it down to a manageable number for us to work with.
I'm curious to hear from the audience here if you have any questions. I want to give you a chance to weigh in, especially those who've maybe seen the film or want to know more about it. Please. Question for those listening in who might not hear the question. Advice, inspiration, what would you share with other kids your age?
I would tell them to not let your circumstances define you, and any problems and struggles that you face, you won't be facing them for long. So you can get through it. You just have to believe in yourself and make sure you have people behind you that support you, because none of us would be up here today if we didn't have a support system and people to motivate us.
I would say, really make sure that you focus in and figure out what it is that you want for yourself. If you're looking for motivation, then maybe you should try and fast forward a few years and see where you would want to be. And don't compare yourself to the next person, because there's always going to be someone doing quote unquote better than you or worse than you or the same as you. And the people that are doing better than you shouldn't look at them in the eyes of envy, but you should look up to them. Try to see how you can get to where they are. Use your resources. And the people below you, you should pull them up the same way the person above you is pulling you up, and the person beside you. You're on the journey together, so you're never really alone, because people are always going to do different struggles. Everybody goes through struggles, and what's most important is that you get through.
For me, I would just want to tell them, you're not alone. That's one thing that we all have in common, is some type of adversity, some type of obstacle. And it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters about where you're going and where you finish. Not to let your environment determine who you are as a person. And set a goal. Be realistic. Each day, progress can increase. And, success is something you have to continue to work towards every day. And, stay confident, stay resilient, and stay one-track minded. Find something you're really passionate about. When you find something you're passionate about, you're never going to be able to sleep without thinking about it. And once you find that, something that you love, something that you want, whether it's education, whether it's being a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a stepper, a dancer, whatever that is, as long as you love it, the possibilities are endless.
I like to add something. For young people, if the director of college counseling, who's solely responsible for getting the class of 2016 and 17 100% acceptance to college, if she was here, she would say there's no linear path to success, and college should be an option for everyone, not a definite for everyone. There should be an option. She will also say, listen to your children and stop pressuring them into doing things that make you happy or fulfill you. So that's just on Paula's behalf, because she's not here. And then for me, I would say it's never too late. When you mess up, dust yourself off and get back up, because it's never too late. Even in the final hour, you still have an hour. Yes. So I will always say, it's never too late. When you mess up, I've messed up so many times, and people typically don't get to success without failure. So you have to remember that.
One last thing. I would say you have to own your past in order to move forward. It's always good to, accept your faults in order to, respect your progress. And in order to do that, you need to find peace within yourself. Don't blame anyone, because sometimes you're not going to be handed the best cards in the world. It's not about what you have, it's about what you do with it. Because you're the only author of your story, and you can't blame anybody else but yourself. Make life wherever you want it to be.
And last question, what's everyone majoring in?
What's everybody majoring in?
Business marketing, double minor in graphic design and communications.
Computer science and international studies with a minor in Spanish.
Urban planning with a minor in political science.
Yeah. But I love the arts.
I wouldn't say that. I think they should focus on academics, but I also want to say, as far as like pledging and stuff, that is something that is for sisterhood, brotherhood, service, scholarship. Stepping is like an extra thing for pledging. For out of respect of the Greek fraternities and sororities, I would definitely say that this story respects every organization and does the steps with integrity. They've learned about every single sorority and fraternity, so hopefully one day, academics first, if that's something they're interested in, they will be equipped, because they have the talents, they have the wit, they have the juice, and I truly believe that academics should definitely just be first.
Can you keep stepping on into life?
I mean, like, step is life. Like, I step in my kitchen, and sometimes I step when I'm frustrated. It's just something that I'm just used to. I did it for a really long time, but all of us, we actually go back and we help out at the school. It's our legacy. We started this just with a vision, with a dream. And, we want to make sure that it's continuing. We left the school with being an undefeated step team, and we go back and we help out, and we just want to see everybody be successful. It's only right to pay it forward. But yeah, Coach G, she can elaborate on
There
that.
are adult step teams out there. It's very few adult step teams after college, but there are. Now that it's really predominant in the African American community, and I'm hoping that this movie really opens it up as something more mainstream and something that everyone can do, because I can make a stepper out of anyone. So I'm hoping that, people definitely, this, I hope, like I said, African American, it's been in African American communities for centuries. So I'm pretty sure that just like when Drumline came out, it's a whole bunch of bands jumped up out in everywhere. Yes. So now I'm hoping that step teams of all cultures are out there, and this will be exciting to see it more mainstream.
Question about it's also about the future, your own futures, but also continuing to be that role model, that positive model. And maybe you can also talk a bit about some of the goals and aspirations you have for your own next chapters.
All right, so I'll start with the next chapter of my life. After I graduate and get my bachelor's, I plan to go get my master's. And thank you. And I want to just go straight through, because I don't want to get lazy and I don't want to mess up my focus. I know it'll be hard, but I got to do it. With urban planning, I want to do transportation planning, housing planning, environmental planning for big cities, small cities, anything like that. I want to create rec centers because they were very important in my life. And a lot of funding gets cut from rec centers and they get put into more jails and prisons and things like that. So I just want to give money to the community. Ever since we started this school in 2009, we were basically the guinea pigs for the school, and we always were the role models for the grades under us. So we always held our heads high, and just wanted to be the best we could be, not only for ourselves or our family or the school, but for the young women looking up to us. And each and every one of us continues to be role models today, whether the camera's going to be in our face or we're going to get social media attention or anything like that. There's always going to be someone watching. So you want to make sure that you're respectful of yourself and everyone around you, and just be great, because people are always going to watch, and you never know who's going to look up to you or who sees you doing something bad and go to that and want to repeat after you. So yeah.
I agree, and also I'm honored to be that representation for little girls that look like me, who don't often see people who look like them doing positive things in society or in the media and everything. But I would like to point out that we're not just trying to be the role models for little girls that look like us. We're trying to be the role models for little girls and boys who don't also, because we are all the future collectively. And I just think it's really important to realize that you don't have to be a young black girl from Baltimore City to learn something or get something or relate to this something in this movie. And so I think that's one of the things that makes it so universal and so important for everybody to watch. But as for my future plans, I already said my major. Well, I'll say it again. I'm studying computer science and international studies with a minor in Spanish. And with that, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. But I do see myself working for a tech company, a big tech company, probably being like a programmer or something of the sorts, and traveling the world. And I would love to speak a lot of languages in addition to becoming a model. And so I just want to show kids that like you can be anything that you want to be. You don't have to pick beauty or brains. You don't have to pick one or the other, but you can be multidimensional.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I would start off by saying I found a new passion of mine, and that is communicating with the youth. I really like to hear what they have to say. I like to hear their questions and see how they relate to my story. And we've been going across the entire country. We even went to Canada, and a lot of different people relate to the movie as far as mother-daughter relationships. My mom deals with depression, and that's something that happens all across the world. Not only that, but being a stepper, I come across a lot of dancers, beatboxers, rappers, and they all see how passionate we all are and the different lanes that we take and the different dynamics and the different feels that we get from stepping. And for me, in the future, I want to do so much, but the main thing that I want to do is give back to the communities, because I know how much it was for the staff and the educators and the people that, supported me to never give up on me. And I just want to be that example, not only in my household and in Baltimore, but in the media, because I feel like the world is just going in a direction to where a lot of people are like putting up this facade, and they're only showing their utmost best on social media. And not even just social media, but everywhere in television, in the media. And I think STEP is going to open up the doors of people appreciating individuality and genuineness again. And I'm really proud to be a part of that, because sometimes people see you and they think you got it going all on, And sometimes it's the opposite. All you need is someone to give you a hug and you're breaking down. And I think that STEP is going to start a movement to where the sense of love is just impeccable and it's growing and it's in the forefront again. Other than that, I go to school for business marketing, double minor in graphic design and communications. With that, I want to be everything that you need for business on wheels, as far as your logo to your billboard to the creative director for your commercial, to your website. Communications, I could be a TV personnel, radio personnel, could start my own whatever. And with business marketing, I have a lot of family that has a lot of dreams and goals as well. I don't come from nowhere. My family, they're big on entrepreneurship. Other than that, though, my passion, it really lies within the arts. Hopefully I want to be on Broadway somewhere. I want to be this person that just shifts the youth's ideal of what a celebrity is and focuses on them being something that's actually empowering again. Started a scholarship called Blessing the Community for girls like myself or boys like myself that may not have the best grades, but they know that they want to go to college and they know that they just need a second chance. And with that being said, hopefully I'll find a support system that will help me start a nonprofit to give away scholarships annually all across the country. And maybe a news anchor. And that's it.
The sky's the limit.
And I'm reaching for it.
As we wrap up this event, I want to, why don't we do this? I want to expand the energy in this room. So if everybody could stand up. And why don't we move these chairs back, and maybe these young women will inspire us.